Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to talk about the very first book I read in this year, and I know what you're going to say, Ivy, why so late? I finished this book yesterday and I know. Okay, so let me explain. Okay, I have an explanation, I swear. So what happened is in January I had my exams. I had my semester exams, and after that it ended last January, and after that in Feb, when I finally got time to read, I was in a really bad reading slump that I just could not pick up a book. So I was just going through book talk and looking for a book that will just, hook me and just get me into reading again. So I found this book by Carrie Maniscalco. I hope again I'm not butchering her name, but okay. So the book is Throne of the Fallen by Carrie Maniscalco. This book, I found it on the book talk, in the, like, there were bunch of romantasy book recommendations, and I found this one. And one thing about this book that I found out after reading it was that it is from a very famous writer. Like, this writer also has one of the really famous series of book talk, which is The Kingdom of the Wicked. I will attach the picture of the first book here so you can read, so you remember it, what it looks like. So that book is like, this series is continuation of that series. And okay, I'll admit I haven't read the Kingdom of the Wicked series yet, and I know, don't come for me. I know I should have read it, but actually I didn't even know about it. Okay, I was like, when I got into this book, I was completely oblivious to the fact that I need to read that series before this one, and I just headed straight into it because it just excited me. When I got to know about it, when I read its blurb, I was very excited to read this book, and I just got into it. Okay, so let me explain this world. So what the both the series are about: seven princes. Okay, seven prince of hell, like seven princes of hell, seven princes of hell, seven different princes of hell. So these princes of hell are like, they rule over seven deadly sins. So there is wrath, then there is envy, then there is pride, lust, and all these different seven princes, they rule over seven different deadly sins, and they are princes of hell. And the first series, Kingdom of the Wicked, is about the very first brother, who is Wrath, and it's his story, and it's a series, and that series is a YA series, young adult series. But this one was this writer's debut into adult series. And honestly, I have thoughts. Okay, I have opinions, and I'm going to share that to you at the end. But before that, we are going to talk about the good stuff. Okay, before we talk about the bad stuff, I need to mention the good stuff and what I enjoyed about this book. Okay, so I when I read this book, I was, of course, very much into it because of the main characters, but I was also very hooked because of the characters of first series, Kingdom of the Wicked series. And yes, there are some spoilers. Okay, I will not say that there aren't any spoilers. There are spoilers for the first series, but there aren't that many spoilers. Okay, I know I haven't read it yet, but after reading this series, I don't think there are that many spoilers. But I'll give you an update. Okay, after I read the Kingdom of the Wicked series, I'll definitely give you a spoiler. I meant update. I'll definitely give you an update. So this video is going to be the spoiler free review, or I hope so, of this book that I read. Before I start telling you about this book, I will tell you how much I rate this book. I will give it a 4 star out of 5 because you'll get to know later. Okay, you'll get to know about it later after after seeing me rate this book 4 stars. I know there are many people that are going to say that it wasn't that good because the world wasn't that deep and it wasn't that rich. But you know I am going to say one thing, and it's that it's a romantasy. Okay, it's not like deep rich fantasy book, it's a romance fantasy. And the point of this book is that its main focus is going to be romance, not the fantasy world. And I know that it should have been more like, if the plot was even richer, if the world was even more intricate, this would have been even more enjoyable. I know that. But I'm just a girl. I went into this book for romance and it delivered. Okay. So, yes, I understand those people, but I personally think that it was fine because it's a romance fantasy. Okay, so let's start with the story. So, the story, okay, first of all, this is a very adventure based story. The whole book is based on adventures and games and everything. And it's just so good. Okay, if you love an adventure, like a book that has adventure and games and riddles and everything, mysteries, lies and secrets and everything, it was so good. Okay, so w- uh, like I said, there are seven deadly princes of hell. So there is one prince of hell named Envy. Okay, so okay, first of all, these seven princes, like I said, they rule over the seven deadly sins. And when somebody indulges in those sins, their powers, increases. Their power is increased when someone indulges in those sins, like envy. If someone is envious around him, he will get power from that. He will be become more and more powerful by their envy. So the story starts with Prince Envy and his court. His court is falling apart, like the court where he rules. His court is falling apart. Everybody is losing their mind because of a curse, a kind of a curse. It's not quite revealed in the first part of the book why everybody is losing their mind, so I will not tell that to you because it will be a spoiler. So like everybody is losing their mind. The court of Prince Envy is falling apart, and to save them, to save his court, he has to play this game with in the underworld of, with all the other mystical creatures, underworld creatures, and he has to win it. If the only way he can save his court is by winning this game. So he goes on to the game. The way game is set is like you will get many different riddles, and you'll have to solve it to get on the next level. And after you solve the last riddle, you will get into the a fairy into the court of the fairy. You will get to the court, the king of fairy, who arranged this whole game, and you will get the prize. So the prizes are tailored to everybody. Okay, like Prince Envy, he wants to restore his court, but it will not be same for the other player. It's like the king of fairy has taken something from everybody, like all the players, and he is inviting them all to and giving them a chance to win back what was theirs once. So Prince Envy is very frustrated. He's very kind of scared, we can say, and he just wants his court to be back to normal again. And he is, okay, very morally questionable again. Can you blame me? Okay, can you blame me? He's morally questionable. He's the villain. He is an asshole. He is. Okay, so now the FMC, female main character. She is a painter. Her name is Camilla Antonius. Camilla Antonius. And she is an artist. She's a painter. And she made a very big mistake of making a deal with the most notorious lord in Waverly Green. That lord is blackmailing her and using everything he can against her to make sure that he's taking full advantage of her. Not physically, I would say, but he tries to get married to her, and he's taking advantage of her art. Okay. And okay, no, that will be a spoiler. That will be a very huge spoiler. I wouldn't tell you that. I wouldn't tell you that. So what happens is she decides to make a deal with Prince Envy, and she decides that she will play this game with him, and in return, okay, yes, Prince Envy needs something from Camilla. Okay, Prince Envy needs Camilla to do something for him to, get ahead in the game. And Camilla makes a deal that okay, I will do this for you, and Envy says okay, if you do this for, okay, no, not Camilla. Envy says if you do this for me, I will help you get rid of that man. Okay, I will make sure that he does not bother you again. The tension, girl, the tension was okay. So to explain the vibes of this book, it has like fairy tale vibes combined with Bridgerton vibes. It has so much Bridgerton vibes. Okay, there are like two different worlds we are, working in. Okay, two different worlds we are switching back and forth in. So the first world is human world, and the second one is underworld, where all the magic happens. So human world is so much Bridgerton vibes. Okay, there are lords, there are ladies and gowns and the tailcoats and everything. It's okay, I can imagine the balls and everything. It was so much Bridgerton vibes. And the underworld part is like it has so much magic and fairy tale. It has so much fairy tale vibes. Okay, one thing about this book was that it was really hard to get into. I don't know if it was because of the book itself or it was because of my reading slump, but it was like the first few chapters were quite hard to get into. And after I got into it, I was obviously very hooked. But after reading around halfway through it, after I think I've around 30 chapters, I dropped it and I did not pick it up for a few days straight. I'd say a week, around a week. I did not pick it up back again for a week. And then again picked it up, got hooked, finished it in 2 days, I think. Yes, 2 days. And yeah, so I don't know if it was because of my reading slump or if it was because of book. Okay, you know why I dropped it in in between? Because I was very sleepy. It was 3 a.m when I finished the 30th chapter, I think. And I was so sleepy. I had college the next day. So I dropped it. I slept. And when I woke up, I never picked it up again. And I picked it up after a week. So that's that. But I just wanted to give you a heads up. So if you can't really get into it and if you're dropping it in between, must be the book. Okay? Must be the book. It's not you. But I don't know if it was me or the book. This book is very heavy on romance, which, okay, we love romance over here. I am a romance girly through and through, and I will always be a romance girly. But by romance, I mean not just the chemistry and romance, I mean the smut scenes, the spicy scenes. And they were okay, they were to the point where I was skipping those scenes, and I was just that's how frequent they were. Okay, they were just, I think they at some point it was quite unnecessary. And I understand that it was the debut book of the writer as adult books, but still they were very frequent, and they were like quite unnecessary at some points, in my opinion. Yes, I love some good spicy scenes for me, because it makes me real feel like yes, the characters are connecting on a much deeper level. But when it's just spicy scenes and the only connection between them is physical, it gets quite hard to to get into the book. And one thing, the characters were insta lust. Okay, not insta love. The connection between Envy and Camilla was insta lust. And that was something that was so off-putting for me, because I am not a fan of insta love stories. I am and will always be a slow burn girl. But I was like, okay, let's give it a try, let's give it a shot. And oh no, I'm sorry. And though their chemistry did grow stronger and they did connect on a much deeper level, there was still like physical attraction was too much that it felt fake, if you know what I mean. Like whenever they thought about it, they were like, okay, that person is so hot, that person is so. I think the emotional connection or the mention of emotional connection was very less, and that gave me the ick, because like, girl, what are you in 2025? That's not a situationship. You're in a fairy world. That's Bridgerton vibes. Give me the love. Okay, give me love. I want real love, true love. If we ignore that part where the smut scenes were very heavy and unnecessary, the plot was very intriguing and the plot was very hooking. And the only reason why I was reading the book was because of the plot, and the one star that I deducted was because of these overly overly included smut scenes. I think that I said that right. If not, I'm sorry. But the excess use of spicy scenes or smut scenes, the angst, the envy, the jealousy, the tension, everything was subpar. Chef's kiss. Everything outside the bedroom, okay, even the spicy scenes were good, okay, I would say the few spicy scenes, the tension building up to that, good. I hope it was less. I just hope that it was less. And I absolutely ate up the adventure base, the game kind of, the riddles mystery kind of plot, and I was living for it. Okay, so now our FMC, Camilla. She is the breath of fresh air in this book world right now because she was so, oh gosh, she was bomb. Okay, she was strong, she was resilient. The prince of hell was in front of her. She's a human, and she refused to back down. She was, even with the lord that was trying to blackmail her, she stood her ground, she stood for herself, she fought for herself, and she refused to back down and be someone's doormat. Girl, I can't relate. Okay, I need to learn from Camilla. I be doormatting for everybody. She was so feisty, and she was so strong-willed, and she was just so smart. I love how the book portrayed that she was very, very smart. Not like, okay, I hate when writers uh, portray female main character as dumb and completely dependent on the male main character. And that's why this character alone made me want to give this book a 5 star, because she was so smart. Envy was the prince of hell, but she was smarter than him. Gosh, he could not solve the riddles, but she was like, bitch, wait, I'll do it. She had Envy on his knees, literally and figuratively, and he could not do anything about it. Okay, she was so smart that she made him act on both of their desires. What I mean by that is, she was feeling the desire herself and she knew he was feeling that desire as well. But rather than acting herself, she played this whole shenanigan and made him act on it, made him pursue her. And queen behavior, okay, queen behavior, iconic. I absolutely loved how book portrays that Camilla's power, like every important character in this book has some kind of power. And the way book portrayed that Camilla's power is her talent was so okay, I felt so beautiful. It felt so beautiful to read that her power stems from her own self. It's like her talent is her power. It's not something that, it's not something that we can't relate to. We all have some kind of talent and we all can feel powerful just by using our talent. And I felt so empowered by that. Okay, so now envy. Envy is the definition of jealous and arrogant. And can we blame him? He rules over envy, he rules over the sin, envy. And he is very arrogant and he's very powerful. Okay, he's prince of hell, and even after, like, even though his court is falling apart, and he his most of the power is going to save his court, and he's not able to showcase that power and use his magic to showcase the power, he's still very powerful. And it's very evident in the book how powerful he is. But the way when he is in front of Camilla and the way when he is with Camilla, his powers, just like, she's overpowering him even though she's just a human, and he's not able to do anything about it. It's just so beautiful. And both the characters, they had these dualities, like they both had their darker, stronger part, and they had their softer, more delicate part. And I love how opposite they were. Like for Camilla, her soft part was for the world, because she was, she was a very social kind of person, and she made friends with everyone. She was the sunshine girly. But her darker part, okay, I wanted to read this kind of book for a really long time. I need to focus on saying one thing. Okay, so like she was the sunshine girl, and her darker part, but her darker part was just for envy. And opposite to it, envy was like this dark, of course he's prince of hell. His dark part, his dark demeanor and his dark self was for everyone in the world, okay, everyone in the universe. He was so arrogant, he was jealous, he was territorial and everything, and nobody dared to fork with him. But when he was with Camilla, he was so soft. He would say the softest, the cutest things, and he would do the cutest things. And it was the balance. I loved the balance. And I wanted to read, what I was saying is that I wanted to read this kind of book since really long time, where the female lead had this kind of duality. Like, okay, she was a sunshine girl, yes, but she had a dark part of herself. And because it feels much more realistic, because when we are talking about sunshine girlies, they all have, everybody has a dark self. And sunshine girlies are portrayed like they are just, they nothing is going wrong in their life. One thing about Envy was he was going to protect Camilla at any cost. There was this scene where Camilla and Envy were going to meet Envy's brother to resolve some kind of clue, to find some kind of clue for the next level of the game. And something happens. I will not tell you what happens. I do remember what happened, okay, but I'm not going to tell you because that will be a spoiler. So he says to his brother that touch her and I'll annihilate all of you. I was eating that shit up. The teenager in me was eating that shit up, okay? I loved it. The character development in this book was really good because, as I said, it started with insta lust, but slowly, at the when the book starts, the characters are shown on the very surface level, and you feel like, okay, this is all it is. Because even in the starting you get a lot of description about the characters, but when you read the book page by pages, you the more information is revealed, and by the end of the book you realize that how much depth that character had. And you will realize it will feel way more realistic. It felt way more realistic that way because the character depth was just so good. And the opposites attract, and the tension, okay, yes, I already mentioned about the tension. The tension was thick, like you could cut it with a knife, girl. And the jealousy and everything, but the opposites attract trope was so good. Like, it was the opposites attract, but are they really opposites? One thing I really liked was that he had the one night rule, that one night stand rule, that I don't sleep with someone I've slept once, because I am protecting my heart. But after Camilla found out about it, she wasn't mopping around. Girl was on a mission to get that man into her bed without crying about it. And respect, okay, respect. She was seducing him, and he was questioning his life decisions every single day. He was like, I'm attracted to her and I hate that. And that was the energy, and it was so good. I loved how just she was just like, she was so unbothered. She wasn't actually unbothered, but on the surface it felt unbothered, and she was just seducing him and luring him in. Oh my god, did I say her? I hope I did not. Luring him in to get with her. One thing that was so beautiful about this book was that these characters, they were so fake in the world. They were wearing, like, they had two different personalities when they were in the world and when they were with each other. And when they were with each other, it was their real self. And I have a very soft spot for this kind of these kind of books where the characters have a very different persona outside in the world, but when they are with each other, it's they are themselves, and nobody else knows that part of them. And it's just like, I feel that that level of intimacy is just something that not everyone can achieve, because people are so scared to be themselves even with their partners. And I totally understand that. And because we don't trust everyone. But apart of me feels it just feels so beautiful to me that that level of intimacy that level of intimacy is something that's just so precious to me. It's just so beautiful to me. Okay, so the last thing before I finish this video is that what I didn't like this book, and I have already mentioned it, that I just wish that there were lesser smut or spicy scenes, because I'm not a very big fan of that, and which is why I'm very excited to read the Kingdom of the Wicked series, because it's a YA book and it's about Wrath and Amelia. And after reading about them in this book, I was already very excited, and that's why I went over to Google and Goodreads, because I wanted to find out about their book, and I had a feeling that they had a book, because there were a lot of past chemistries and past stories that weren't explained in this book, and that had to be because they had their own book. So I am very excited to read about that, and the only reason I gave it a 4 star was because too much spice scene for me. Okay, and again, the lack of emotional compatibility that I felt, the lack of emotional connection I felt that was expressed, and yeah, that was odd. I would say that was the only thing that I did not like about this book. Everything else was just so good. Like I said, uh, scenes, the plot outside of their bedroom was so good. I absolutely loved it. The backstories were very beautifully written, and everything was just so good, except that one thing. And I hope to see more YA books from this writer, because the plot was so interesting and the writing was very beautiful. So that was it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and let me know what you think about this video, and if you have read the Kingdom of the Wicked series, and drop it down in the comment box, because I need reviews. If you're still here, thank you so much for watching till the end. I really appreciate you. I'm very grateful that you chose my video to watch and stuck till the end. Let me know what you think. Give it a thumbs up if you liked, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.